Welcome to our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is Skyman TV, the tallest man in Black Africa. The Finance Bill 2023 by Kenya Kwanza administration could be the Waterloo that would bring William Samoei Ruto down. If there is one bill that is unpopular in Kenya, it is the 2023 Finance Bill. This is the first budget by Ruto administration. Nobody want to hear about it, not even the employers. And yesterday, the employers, the investors gave a hint that they could relocate to the neighboring countries. And they cited Uganda, Tanzania, and even Ethiopia. And the country is at risk of losing more than 500 billion worth of investment by the foreign investors. And who would invest in a country where you are not sure that you get a return for your money? Who is this foolish investor who would invest in a country where you are supposed to build houses for your employees? Who is this investor who is ready to invest in a country that is heavily taxed? So if you're joining this channel for the first time, kindly like this video at this juncture, and for those of you who have never subscribed, please subscribe now. So William Samoei Ruto is staring at a nightmare, and when you look at even the employees themselves, hawataki kusikia anything to do with finance bill, hawataki kusikia chochote kwa sababu many of them believe that it is a pyramid scheme, and truth be told, it is a pyramid scheme. Pale ambapo watu wachache wanatoa pesa, because you see, if William Samoei Ruto is going to build 250,000 houses in a year, which is an impossible task if you ask me, kile ambacho tunajua ni kwamba si kila mtu ambaye atapata. And then when you look at Kenya, a Kenya that whose other's name is corruption, then you can imagine the kind of corruption that will be planted in this country as politicians and those who are politically correct try to give houses to their friends, to their girlfriends, to their relatives, because Kenya and tribalism is one and the same thing. Kenya and nepotism is one and the same thing. Kwa sababu unapoangalia utaona kwamba there is a problem of trust deficit in this country. Because when you look at William Samoei Ruto, many people don't trust William Samoei Ruto. Ukweli usemwe ni kwamba wengi haamini ya kwamba anaweza akaleta mabadiliko ambayo watu wangekuwa wakifanya. Nafikiri kama ingelikuwa ni kama mwenda zake Mwai Kibaki, na Mungu ailaze roho yake mahali pema peponi, kama ingelikuwa ni Mwai Kibaki, nafikiri watu wangeamini, watu hawangekuwa wakizua wasiwasi, hawangekuwa wakiuliza maswali ya ati kwa nini, lini, itakuwaje, because Mwai Kibaki had won the trust of Kenyans. Mwai Kibaki ni mtu mmoja ambaye aliheshimika sana, and people could see the returns of what he was doing. People could see the fruits. Kwa sababu unajua mti hujulikana na matunda ambao unaozaa. Kwa sababu unapoangalia William Samoei Ruto, the fact that he is surrounded by people with questionable characters, the fact that his advisors are people with tainted past, the fact that wengine walikuwa na kesi za ufisadi, the fact that many of them cannot even convince anybody that they in for anything. But inaweza kuwa vigumu sana. When I was looking at Higa yesterday, the principal secretary at State House, the man was at pain. The man was sweating. He almost sweated blood. Kwa sababu alikuwa natokwa na kijasho kibaba, sijui mara ngapi ambapo tuliona kifuta kile kijasho chake kibaba. Because you see, he's being forced to lie. And there's nothing difficult than telling somebody to lie. There's nothing difficult than trying to convince somebody, to convince Kenyans, to convince people who are intelligent. And one thing that is very clear is that William Samoei Ruto is not sparing any effort to convince many people. In fact, the reason why he brought the president of Singapore, you know, Singapore is a very good example of a country that has managed to build houses for her people. The reason why he brought the president of Singapore is that he can sell the idea. So you can see that William Samoei Ruto is determined to go all the length to ensure that the housing policy, the finance bill goes through. And when you look at the determination, because he's not sparing anything, truth be told, and there's nobody who can convince him that this project is going to fail. But again today, because we are going to see a representative of workers union, as we are going to see like now Kupet, Nat, and I think Kotu are going to appear before Parliamentary Service Commission. Kile ambacho tunaona ni kwamba utasikia vile ambavyo wanalalamika, kwa sababu wafanyikazi hawataki kutoa, mwajiri hataki kutoa. And then when you tell the people to give 3% of their houses, of their salaries, and the employer is not willing, and again the employee is not willing, why should it be forced down the throats of Kenyans? That is the hard question that Kenyans are asking. Na ukweli usemo ni kwamba ikiwa hivi ndivyo ambavyo William Samoei Ruto ataendelea, kusema kweli, a time will come when people will move out of their houses. A time will come when people will start demonstrating. Indeed, because ukiangalia utaona kwamba watu wengi in fact wanaambia Raila Amolo Odinga, and that is why I've always told you that Raila Amolo Odinga will continue to play a very important role in this country. Siku hizi inasikia watu hata wale ambao hakumpigia kura, wale ambao walikuwa na mshtumu, hususan sehemu za Mlima Kenya, wakimuita Raila Amolo Odinga aje aite maandamano ili waweze kujitokeza, ili mradi, kwa sababu wamefinywa kabisa, wamerabwa kabisa, kama wengi wanavyozoea kusema siku hizi, mtarabwa. Na kusema kweli mnarabwa kabisa. Kwamba lakini huu urabaji, unajua, hauwezi ukaendelea milele na milele, kwa sababu inafika mahali ambapo enough is enough. Watu wanasema hivi. Na I don't know why William Samoei Ruto cannot wait and maybe come into a compromise with the workers, with the employers. Because what is the need of losing billions of worth of investment? Kwa sababu ikiwa wawekezaji watatoroka nchi, and I believe as we talk today, many employees' jobs are in jeopardy. They are at risk. Many employees are at risk of having their jobs terminated. Kwa sababu ni nani huyu ambaye atakubali kuwajengea wafanyikazi wake majumba? Ni nani huyu? Ni nani huyu? And then the employees are asking hard questions, and the government has not come out clearly to convince people. And again, even William Samoei Ruto's members of parliament, a number of them are not for this. I understand most governors in Mount Kenya region are not for this idea. Indeed, in Kiambu, the governor has not even bothered to discuss the housing finance bill. He has not bothered even to come up with the rules and regulations pertaining the building of these houses. They are not bothering. Kirinyaga the same. They are not discussing these issues because it is something that is being forced down their throats. And there's no way you can convince people to build houses for others. And whether people like it or not, the best thing would be for this government to come up with good infrastructures, wajenge nyumba nzuri, wajenge barabara nzuri, wakarabati barabara, waweke miundo msingi kama vile maji, stima ziwekwe pale, barabara nzuri, wifi, such things. And people are going to build houses for their own. Tena zile binu ambazo wanatumia kujengea watu nyumba, hata ile nyumba ambayo unajengewa labda sio ambayo wewe ungetaka wewe mwenyewe, kwa sababu labda unaniambia unijengee nyumba na hata ile ramani ambayo watumia mimi sitaki hiyo, nataka mimi na mpango wangu. Again, even the location, we are not disputing the fact that the future of Kenya is urban. We are not disputing that. We are also not disputing that there is a problem of housing in this country. But we are disputing the fact that the housing problem is not the major problem at the moment. The greatest problem in this country today is lack of jobs, is poverty, is poor health services, is diseases. Those are the major problems. And again, we are not disputing that the houses, the project, in the fullness of time zinaweza kusaidia baadhi ya watu. Kwa mfano, unaweza ukapata kuna the elders, labda mhunzi pale atafaidika pale, atafaidika mmoja, atapata shilingi moja pale. Lakini we cannot also ignore that William Samoei Ruto's government is corrupt and sick to high heaven. That one cannot dispute. It's just the last week that we saw the KEMSA scandal and the poisoned sugar by the barons. And these barons are in William Samoei Ruto's government. So how are you going to convince Kenyans now that now sasa umekuwa mzuri, that their money is safe and they are doing the right thing. And again, this idea of even telling Kenyans that you can invest for seven years, and then after 7 years ukitaka kutoa pesa zako unaweza kutoa. Now who is going to get the profit? And you know that sorry for that. What we are saying is that tunajua kwamba wakati ambapo pesa zinawekwa pale, tunajua zitakuwa zinapoteza dhamana yake. This is going to depreciate. And now who is going to account for this depreciation? And who is going to get the interest of the money that has been invested for 7 years? And who is going to get the money that, because according to the principal secretary, Higa was saying that ati baada ya miaka 7 unaweza ukatoa zile pesa zako, na ukitoa zile pesa zako ukazitumia. But when you look at all this is nonsense, because kile ambacho tunapata ni kwamba hizi ni pesa ambazo haziwezi hata kutoshea kigaji cha mkono. Less than 200,000. It's very little money. And the government is not going to give you the money that was being given by that was being contributed by the employer. Sasa swali ambalo wanajiuliza, hizi pesa zinaenda wapi? Indeed, let's agree that this is a pyramid scheme. Indeed, let us agree that this bill is unpopular. And let us agree that Kenyans are not happy. Let us agree that in the fullness of time, Kenyans will demonstrate against these bills. Because you see, we have seen Kupet and Nat saying that they are going to rally their members to come out and demonstrate. We have seen the employers, various companies, investors saying that they are going to move away from Kenya. So how are you telling that this thing should be implemented? I believe William Samoei Ruto needs to call himself into order. He needs to call himself into order. He needs to know that Kenyans are not for this idea. And when Kenyans don't support an idea, it is very, very difficult to bring the changes that you want. Maybe he means well, but the method that he's using is wrong. I believe it should be voluntary. If you ask me, I should advise him, Mr. President, make the contribution for the houses voluntary. Mr. President, this idea is not popular with Kenyans. I don't know whether you support the idea, but from where I sit, huku negote, may you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.